And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. If you guys are new to the channel, I appreciate you guys all hopping in. My name is PK. Let's talk about some stuff. Do not be sad that Pokemon investing is over. Just be happy that it happened. I made a video not too long ago. This hobby, I'll tell you what, this hobby moves very, very quickly. Less than a month ago, I made a video talking about something, and I got a little heat from people in it. I mentioned single pack prices. Joke's on me. I'm just going to let you guys know that what this channel is, above all others, is this channel is living in the now and living in the exact moment that I think certain things in this hobby is going to happen at certain moments. Let me be very, very clear to you. Booster boxes at release are the best possible purchase you can get for sealed product most of the time. Right now we're in a crazy hobby, and then you want to know what probably one of the worst things you could do right at release is just pick up loose packs. And to be able to pinpoint and to say this is the exact moment, this is the exact time, I think, to go into loose packs, I think is, people don't realize how hot of a take that is and how much harder it is to do that, to pinpoint when to go into loose packs, when to go into booster boxes. Booster boxes, you could just have a broad range. And what this channel is, and I'm trying to really hammer this point down, this channel is small tidbits, small moments in time that I think your best opportunities to strike are. And 1 month ago, I made a video. I'm not going to pull up a video because it's easy. I got a lot of videos. Shout out, this is video number 751. I've officially surpassed the 750 video mark, which is a crazy, crazy thing to actually say. I want to show you guys something. This right here, I will scroll down a little bit just so you can see the date of this video. So this is a screenshot. This is my live. This is a video live. Not a lot of views. Streamed on May 22nd, 2025. At the time recording today's video is 6/26. So this was, let's call it a month ago. 1 month ago, I made this video. And 1 month ago, I got a little bit of heat because I said, you know what? Today, I think is a good time to pick up certain Sword and Shield packs, and I was literally in the middle of my PK verbal diarrhea, my rants, and I just happened to mention Fusion Strike, and I happened to mention Astral Radiance. So unfortunately, during the live, I didn't pull up every single set. I only could show the two that I talked about, the two that I showed up on the screen, because for me to actually pull up a screen real time is actually a rare thing. But yeah, this is my live. You can go to the 6-minute and 2-second mark, and you can see when I pulled up a Fusion Strike. Do you want to know what Fusion Strike booster packs are 1 month later? This is your Fusion Strike booster pack 1 month later. $13.96. That is a $3.02 per pack increase in 1 month. That is a 27.6% increase in 1 month. You know what the crazy thing is? In that live, I also showed booster box prices. Everyone always told me, yeah, but PK's an idiot because he was telling people to buy loose packs. Everyone knows loose packs are the bad buy. Booster boxes is the better store of money. And you know what? Most of the time, you are correct. Except, do you want to know what happened with booster boxes? Booster boxes have gone down. So while individual packs have gone up 27.6%, so less than 2.5% away from going up 30% in the matter of 1 month, booster box prices went down. And then in that same video, I happened to just pull up Astral Radiance packs. I was just talking and I pulled up 2 packs because I mentioned these sets. It had nothing to do with anything except that you could go back and watch that video. May 22nd, this month, or last month. I pulled up another item just because I was talking about it during the video. Astral Radiance packs. Astral Radiance packs 1 month later. Not a crazy, crazy price increase. They've gone up. I mean, you can't make this up. They've gone up 69 cents. Nice. I mean, come on. Nice, right? Nice. But Yeah, 69 cents is a low. So sorry. 11% gain in 1 month. So we had Fusion Strike packs go up 27.6 and Astro Radiance 11%. 11%. That's in Pokemon. 11%. You can't. That's trash, to be honest. I happened to pull up Astro Radiance booster box during the live too. You want to know what happened with Astro Radiance booster boxes in a 1 month timeline? They went down. This channel is small, little, teeny moments in time. It's where I think the best opportunities are right now. That's it. That is all this channel is. That is all this channel has ever been. And that's all this channel will probably ever continue to be. It is the exact right moment. And that's what it was. So where you had Fusion Strike booster boxes went from $800 a box at the time I recorded my video, and they dropped down to $740. They lost about $60. The time I recorded my video, Astro Radiance were $400 a box, and they dropped down to $371. So you lost about $30 a box. But at the same time, when I was talking about loose packs, you would have made 27.6% on Fusion Strike loose packs, and for Astro Radiance packs, you would have made a measly 11%. That is what this channel is. Little teeny tidbits, little teeny moments in time. Is this always going to be what's going to happen? Are you always going to see Fusion Strike booster packs jump up in value 27.6% in 1 month? No, you will not. You will not. But this is where the big buts come in, and I cannot lie. All the other brothers, some will deny, but most of them will not. Sometimes you just get it right. Sometimes I'm right. Okay, I'm not right all the time. All right. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. That's where I'm at. That's this hobby. I just want you guys to know. That is this hobby. Moments in time. For the large majority of this hobby. I'm gonna be honest with you. The large majority of this hobby, there's two things. And people convolute this, and this is an argument that I hate that people have. People have an argument that says time in the hobby versus timing the hobby. And I think that both of those are very, very important. I think time in the hobby is super, super important. And I also believe in timing the hobby is super important. And the problem is people always argue about that. Time in the hobby, timing the hobby. It's just a combination of two. It's a combination of two things. That is how you should go about this hobby. You should go about time in the hobby. The longer you're here, I promise you, you're going to acquire more and more stuff. Shout out to Mr. Retrospecs. Retrospecs, brought up a good point. I don't remember. I was watching one of his Cardboard Hands podcasts. But Retro said, one of the things about this hobby, when you first enter into the hobby, it's really, really easy to turn over your bankroll. Meaning you have an inventory, it's only worth so much money, and you could just constantly turn it over. And it is very easy to turn it over when your bankroll is very, very low, and when your inventory is not super, super crazy. The bigger your bankroll gets, the bigger your inventory gets, it gets harder and harder to turn over, and that's where time in the hobby definitely outpaces timing the hobby, because at that point, you just look for things that you think are going to do both. You look for everything. Short term, medium term, long term, you look for everything in between. That's what you want. And, when you get to a certain point, I think, and that should be everybody's goal. Everybody's goal should be, someday I want to get to a point where I can't turn over my inventory. If we could do compounding interest and you could just turn over, and you can make 27.6% on your money every month, month over month for the next 5 years, and let's just say you're starting with $10,000, you will be a very, very rich person. Reality, that is going to be very, very hard to do. But if you really, really grind, while you might not be able to hit that Fusion Strike 27.6% per month, you could do decent gains. And that's why I talked about it. And what did I tell you guys? I was very clear. I was very transparent. You could say a lot of things about me. Some not nice and probably some pretty mean. But I was super, super transparent. I said, why do I like packs right now? Because I said packs are the most liquid item in this hobby right now today. Do you want to know what the easiest thing it would take for me to offload? Fusion Strike packs right now. You know what would be much harder for me to do right now today? Unload Fusion Strike booster boxes, especially having now that they're on a little bit of a dip. Not crazy. And again, this is just today. This is not forever. This is the problem. This is the problem with videos like this. This is the problem with the hobby. And this is the problem with the market in general. Everybody just wants to pinpoint to like little teeny things a year later, 2 years later. I live in the moment. I don't think, all right, I shouldn't say that. There are way more people that are way more actively engaged in Pokemon than I am, but I am up there. I'm in a 1 percentile of the most actively engaged people in this hobby. And I don't mean that as a brag. I stream 11 times a week. 11 times. From the second the camera turns on to the second the camera turns off. Do you want to know the one thing that I do? Is I talk about Pokemon. And I talk about everything Pokemon 11 times a week. That means on camera, just through, Fanatics, I am streaming between 40 to 45 hours a week. That means I am talking about Pokemon for 40 to 45 hours a week. There's only like a little over 160 hours in a week, assuming you don't even sleep. Most of my waking day is talking about Pokemon. And then when I'm off, I'm packing orders. I'm talking to other people about Pokemon. I'm making deals. I'm looking at charts. I'm watching the market. So the time that I'm not even on camera, that doesn't even count. Well, the 40 hours doesn't count YouTube, but the 11 stream times, I stream Fanatics Monday through Friday, starting at 11 a.m., and then I'm live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturday nights. Do you want to know what nights I'm not live? Thursday nights. You want to know why I'm not live on Fanatics on Thursday night? Because I spend my time with you peoples out there. But I talk about Pokemon 11 times a week. I promise you. I'm in it. I am in it. And it might not feel like that if you only watch the YouTube channel. You're going to be like, oh, PK doesn't even make videos anymore. He hops on the live for an hour or whatever on Thursday night. Because, yeah, I use Thursday as a break. You want to know what my day was today? I streamed this morning. Then I packed last night's stream. I packed this morning's stream. And then I had a meeting with somebody at Fanatics to, just go over some back-end stuff. And then right around 4 o'clock, I was off for the day. My wife got off of work at 4. We loaded the family into the car. We drove to the post office, dropped my packages off at the post office, and that was my day. So from the second I woke up pretty much until 4 p.m., I was all Pokemon. And then hung out with the family, had dinner, put the kiddos to bed, and you know what? You know what I get to do again? I go, turn on my computer, and I talk about Pokemon. I promise you, I am in it. Might not see it. You might not think it because you might just only watch me on YouTube and you might think, well, this is a little bit of a dying channel. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But you know what? For those of you that are here, those of you that are still here, you want to know something very special about you guys? You are also in it. And not only are you in it, you have stayed in it. And that's the thing. So while it's a combination of a lot of things, you got to stay with it. Then that is the time in the hobby. Make no mistake about that. That is super important. And then timing the hobby. That is also important. Love and marriage. Can't have one without the other. That's Pokemon. Pokemon is love and marriage. You can't have one without the other. Shout out to old Frank Sinatra. Shout out to old Al Bundy and Married with Children. What a great show. Ooh, man, that show would not fly on today's climate, would it? But Married with Children, great, great show. Man, some of the all-time craziest fat jokes were in that show. Al Bundy, old woman's shoe salesman. Man, what a fever dream that show was for somebody to pitch that one and being an all-time great. But yeah, we in it. So don't be sad. Pokemon investing is over. Just be sad it happened. Don't be sad that your Fusion Strike packs, that if you took my word, you only made 27.6% price increase in 1 month. All right. That is me. That is me standing on my pedestal saying, knew it. I done knew it. All right. With that said, hey, if you guys got anything in the comments, anything in the chat, anything you want to talk about, feel free to write it. I'm here for as long as you guys want, as long as you guys want to ask questions. If you guys don't want to ask questions, that's fine. I do want to bring on some guests again. The problem is just scheduling and everything. Scheduling with the guests, getting people on. I know I am due for a basic trainer chat. I think this is the longest amount of time that I've gone without basic trainer on my channel. And I think that is a serious problem that we're running into. We got Dio's Cave says, waited all week just to be here first at Dio's Cave. I appreciate you being the first comment. We got Tap. Tap says, PK, I missed you. Tap, are you got any plans to go to Charlotte by any chance? We got Pokemonster said, yo, Pokemonster, good to see ya. Katie Lowen, PK Live, right on time. Appreciate Katie. We got Pokemage. We got Kashmir. Samurai says, feel like forever since I seen you. Looking good, bro. Samurai, Kit Kat, appreciate you, buddy. Niches of the niches. We are in the niches of the niches, my friend. Son of Mewtwo. Where you been at, my friend? I've missed ya. Silence God says, I remember August 2024 when I asked PK, should I go heavy in 151 since it was dropping at Walmart, Canada, and no one cared. I have 300 packs. He said yes. Went ballistic. 2,500 packs cross product. Wow. Silence, that is crazy. Your channel is small, but you are smart thinking and you're sharing like, not like some of the others guys saying things. 1 million a year, fed up with them personally. Well, 1 million a year. I will tell you, I have already hit the milli mark this year. In fact, I'm on pace for the 2 milli mark. Not bad for the old grandma's basement. So that was my humble brag. I know. Silence. But crazy. Crazy. I'm gonna hit the old 2 milli mark. Hawking cardboard out of the grandma's basement. It's pretty crazy. We got Thrift already said, PK, did you say you'll be at a Collecticon Cleveland a few lives ago? If so, I'll be there on Saturday. Thrift Hardy. No, I will not be at Collecticon Cleveland, but I think old Danny Catch More Collectibles will be there. Roxy said Paldea Evolved to the moon. Yeah. Paldea Evolved is one of the sets I've been picking up. So in the last, let me tell you. I can tell you my last Paldea Evolved acquisitions. I've been picking up a lot of stuff, so I've picked up. Let's see. I picked up for Paldea Evolved. I picked up so I picked up 700 packs on 5/16. And then I picked up 300 packs on 6/4. So I picked up over 1,000, no, not over, exactly 1,000 packs since March 16th. So since, what is that? All right, did I say March? 5. May, since May. I'm sorry, I was speaking way wrong. So I picked up 1,000 packs of Paldea Evolved since 5/16/2025. So since May, I picked up 1,000 packs. 700 packs I acquired, 5/16, 300 packs I acquired on 6/4. So that's my, but that's the thing. I'm only made out of so much money. So I've been picking up thousands of packs in the last 2 months, just loose packs. I'm telling you, I don't just come here and tell you to do something. I'm actually doing it. So The only problem is 151's been tough. I just been breaking down the other day. I just got 18 Sea and Sky boxes, or not Sea and Sky, Bloom and Waters boxes in the mail. Oh my god, those things are just brutal to break down. But I've been breaking down those. Acquired my most recent pickup of 151 was a while ago, and it was 350 packs. It was last month. And then that was 350 packs, not including my Bloom and Waters boxes that I got. I'm acquiring positions and everything, man. The problem is I just want a little bit of everything because I don't know what's going to be the best performer. I honestly don't. I have my feelings. It's the sets I kind of already told you about on other lives. Crown Zenith, 151, Paldea Evolved. I think those are clear winners. But I don't want everything in just a few packs. I want to be spread out. I want to be just getting a little bit because I think a lot of this stuff is drying up. And I think it's going to keep drying up. And if it does keep drying up, then stuff is just going places. Now, I'll tell you what I don't feel comfortable in right now today. Prismatic Evolutions. I said this in my live, and I know it's kind of like cheating, but I said I like Prismatic Evolutions any chance I get to pick it up at MSRP. But secondary market prices, just too unstable for me. I'm just not about that right now. I think there's going to become a time where I'm picking up Prismatic. You know what? Even me saying I like Prismatic at MSRP, if Prismatic does get printed enough, that might be a really bad buy. That's why it's already hard enough for me to source at MSRP. I have 0 ways to source Prismatic at MSRP and like large scales. I'm talking just, your random, shout out to Ral Discord, like your random drops and stuff. Like I'm picking up a couple booster bundles here, ETB here, nothing. I don't have the connections to pick up large amounts of Prismatic Evolutions at MSRP in like some back alley channels, like because right now the price of the Prismatic is super expensive. I told you guys like that. 151 Crown Zenith and Paldea Evolved. That stuff's drying up, but I've liked Fusion Strike. I liked Astral Radiance. That's why I talked about those too. And this Sword and Shield stuff is drying up. It's drying up. I like all the Sword and Shield sets. I like them all. There's some that I don't like as much as others. I want the sets that I think are going to be ripped in the future. Because I think not only I think, like I told you, I want to be in the most liquid item in the Pokemon hobby, and that is packs. And the reason why packs are super liquid is because you could push them off the streamers. And you know what? As long as you're acquiring your packs from trusted sources, and as long as you are a trusted source, I think my reputation's good enough that I am a trusted source for packs. So all the packs that I sit on, all the packs that I have are gold. That's how I look at them. They're all gold because they're backed behind my word, and I value my word, and hopefully the people that I will be selling to will value my word as well. So that is like the thing. If you could find something that you think is undervalued for where the market is today. Now that's the thing about packs. I told that in the very near term, you're going to see packs go crazy. I talked about it in the last 2 lives, and you know what? There was probably a lot of people didn't like to hear that. And I literally just showed it to you. I showed you. I know there's people still hopping, and I could see. We're going to do this one more time. I see people hopping in. So people watching this on replay, sorry, T's and P's, thoughts and prayers to you guys. You're going to have to hear the same rant. But I'm going to do this real quick. May 22nd. Little over a month ago, Fusion Strike booster packs $10.94. Fast forward a little over a month later, increase of $3.02 a piece per pack. That is an increase of 27.6%. Booster boxes. Everybody said PK's crazy. You shouldn't be buying loose packs. Booster boxes are the way to go. On that same live, I showed an image of a booster box, $800. Fast forward a month later, it dropped in price, $60. Booster packs went up 27.6%, and booster boxes dropped in price. Same video, unfortunately, showed 2 sets because I was in the middle of my PK rants, my verbal diarrhea, as some would call it. Astral Radiance booster packs, $624 during that live. Fast forward 1 month later, they've only gone up 69 cents. Nice. And that is 11% gain. What happened with the booster boxes in the same amount of time? Booster boxes, 403, 371. They dropped $32 a box. While the Astro Radiance booster packs went up 11%, booster boxes dropped as Fusion Strike packs went up 27.6%. Booster boxes dropped. That's it. In the moment we live, in the moment we live, and we die in the moment. That is my life. That is what I do. All right. Let's see. Tab says, PK, I'm doing that FOMO thing. I want a booster box of Journey and Destin, but going into black and white, I'm worried they're going to be focusing on the mega sets. Tab, you are a very special person, Tab. There is nobody that I know that is quite tuned in to drops like you, Tap. No one has the excuse to not have been able to pick up a good price on booster boxes worse than you. You do not, I'm sorry, Tap, I cannot give you, you do not get any, you do not get the pass go. You do not get the collect $200 on this one. We're sending you right to jail. Tap, you are the most tuned in person I know with drops. I know for a fact you saw opportunities to pick up Destin Rivals booster boxes cheap. I know you've had opportunities to pick up Journey Together booster boxes cheap. Tap, if you did not pick up those booster boxes, that is on you, buddy. You know the demand for those. You see how quickly stuff is selling out on the Rattle Discord. I picked up cheap Journey Together booster boxes. I picked up a couple cheap Destin Rivals booster boxes, and it was through the Rattle Discord, like just even on the PokemonCenter.com drop. 161, I think Destin Rivals dropped for. Journey Together, same thing. They got botted up real quick. They sold out quick, but everybody had their opportunities for those two boxes. Tap, I can't give you a pass. Unless you're trying to acquire big positions and not just the onesie twosies. But there's no reason you should be FOMOing, Tap. If anything, you should be like a little printer right now. A printer of cash. Because you have, I mean, you're there, man. You got all the right, yeah, I don't know. And if you guys don't know who Tap is the one that runs all the bots in the Rattle Discord. So that's why I can't give Tap a pass on that one. We got Pokemonster said Fates Collide was $8 in 2022. Loose packs. Yeah. But then, you know what? There was a spot where Fates Collide packs exploded. It's all about being in the moment. And that is the hard, people, I'm telling you, booster boxes is an easy one. That is the T-ball of this. Trying to time loose packs, that is 95-mile-per-hour fastballs. Because you could see how all booster boxes go up, and the packs, they just don't perform the same way. I just showed you a window of time, and for me to pull up items, pull up images on the screen, look at that. You can't time this shit, like, much better. That's me. Pat my own back. Shout out to old Leonhardt. Shout out Leonhardt. Is that the... I forgot. That's the thing. We trash on Leonhardt. Say, Leonhardt, thank you for allowing me to be in your video. Yes, I'm willing to do this trade with you. And then, fast forward a little while later. Ooh, I didn't think it was a bad trade, but other people told me it was a bad trade. So now, I've listened to all those people, and I do believe it was a bad trade. I think I got that story correct. I know it sounded ridiculous when I said it out loud, but I think that's exactly kind of what happened. So we got Son of Mewtwo. It says, say it louder for the folks in the back. Son of Mewtwo, appreciate ya. Julian says, is it time for Vintage to really eclipse Modern? I know Vintage is going on a rip right now, but I think we are just beginning. Ooh, that is a broad question. Julian, you are going to have to, you know me. That's way too vintage. What? That's a big question there. Is some vintage doing really well? Yes. Is vintage booster boxes going up? Or loose packs going up? Yes. Vintage product going up? Are we in the boom? Now that people are asking about vintage, does that mean we're in a boom? Like, I like when people stay away from vintage. Like, stay away from vintage for now. Keep staying away. It was great. I guess the question is, when vintage was down, were you buying vintage? If you weren't buying, I don't know. Um, Listen, there's just too many things, too many nuances of the vintage conversation. There are definitely some sets that I think are going to do really well. There's some stuff that I think is super undervalued. I think there was stuff that was super undervalued in 2016. I think there was other stuff that was undervalued in 2020. I think there was other stuff that was undervalued in 2021. Yesterday and tomorrow and the next day. And you know what? Sometimes it takes a little bit for people to appreciate the same stuff as you. So that, Julian, when you talk about vintage, that is a deep conversation. You need exact cards, exact sets, nuances, pop reports. That's when pop reports actually matter. Modern's easy. Modern's much easier to time. Yeah, that's just where I stand on that one. Pokemonster said, Married with Children. I was very young. My dad used to like it. Great memories. Oh, Tap says, yes, we're going to Charlotte and Chad and Pokemon. Tap, I can't wait to see you, buddy. I'll give you a big hug when I see you. We got Pokemage says, PK, I ordered 32 playmats to get the PT or the Pokemon Center Tyranitar promos. It felt like the good old days of buying special delivery Charizards with the eBay codes. Yeah, Pokemage, I got a couple of those Charizards or the PK's grandma's desk. So everything on the PK's grandma's desk is all the channel stuff, but deep in the recesses, look, oh, you want to know something too? Well, you want to know what was just sitting right there? Do you want to know what's pretty funny? You got to go back. I watched some videos of mine, just trying to, like, you know, highlight, do clips and stuff. But man, there's a lot of videos where I was talking about black and white cards, you know? I'm very happy that I still to this day have a drawer full of cards like this. Some nice OG black and white full arts. That's the thing. When you talk about vintage, is there stuff that's undervalued? Listen, there was a long time that black and white stuff was super, super undervalued. And you know what I was doing? I was acquiring as much of it as I could. Not as much. No, I shouldn't even say that. Because what I could versus what I was acquiring a lot of it. Multiples of a lot of stuff. Full arts, I thought they were undervalued. Now, did I know that Pokemon was going to re-release a black and white set? No, I did not. So was there a little bit of luck involved? Yes. But that just goes back to me picking up stuff that at the time I thought was undervalued. So now I could get a desk full of cards like this. That's a pretty good feeling when you look at, oh, one of the old Zekrom, one of the old Reshiram, the one that I just showed you right there. What have those bad boys done in the last couple months? It's like, oh, they did pretty good. And then people are going to say, where are all the near mint copies? Oh, these lucky people. I can't believe where people are even picking these up. Well, when they were there, you got to eat when the eating's good. And then you know what, Julian? Going to go back to Julian's question. I was picking up a lot of black and white full arts for a long time. Way past like any amount of time people probably should have been. But I kept doing it. And now, you want to know what I'm not doing? I'm done. At least for now. I'm done picking up black and white full arts. I've gotten my fill. I have so many black and white full arts right now that I don't need to pick up more. And you want to know why need and want is that's another conversation. Maybe there's nuance to that. But I don't want to because now maybe this is where I'm going to get hurt. Because now I got price memory. Because I know the prices I was paying for all those cards right there. And they were drastically cheaper than what I would have to pay for them today. So what do I want to do? I want to be a seller into this market where I was a buyer for a very, very long time. I was a buyer of black and white cards. Everything. And that's the best part. There's not a lot. You know, your first two sets, there's 4 full arts. You got the Reshiram and Zekrom, and you got the Secret Rare Pikachu from black and white base, and a Thundurus and a Tornadus from Emergent Powers. Like, yeah, you know, Noble Victories and stuff with the Victini stuff. I'm sure there's a Victini somewhere in here. I will be able to find it. Minute parts. But, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, sometimes some stuff is undervalued, and then sometimes the market just hits it. And, you know, black and white really brought a lot of attention to these black and white trainers and black and white full arts, and the market has gone crazy, and now everybody's starting to talk about the megas. Our mega's going to do really good. Yes. They are. People, I was looking, I don't have any megas close by. I thought I had some mega Gengars, but I don't think I do. No mega Gengars. But yeah, megas are going to do good too. So if you guys want to start picking up megas, prepping. But you know what, that's the problem too, is I don't even know. Like, it kind of almost feels too late for the megas. I feel like megas have already started to see price increases. But like, that's the thing. It's like living in the day today. I don't think you realize too how, even the fact that you know a mega set is coming up, I don't think you realize that you are not in the majority. You are definitely in the minority of people in this hobby. Most people are not that deep into Pokemon. Like, there's on, not, oh my god, I was gonna say Twitter. What is it called? X, on X. There's a post going on. I'm sure you guys have seen it. There's a guy selling a Shadowless Charizard, IIC. So IIC is the people that do the CT scanning. It's like a $30,000 Shadowless pack. Or at least that's what he's asking for. And it's got a confirmed Shadowless Charizard in it. And if you just go and you look at some of these posts, I clicked on it and I just scrolled down and looked at all the comments on it. And it was one of those posts that caught a lot of traction. The amount of comments in that of people saying, I didn't know Pokemon was still a thing. How can this person know this pack is Shadowless? How do they know there's a Charizard in it? I didn't know you could scan packs. Like, wait, Pokemon cards are worth this much money. Why doesn't he just grade it as a Gem Mint 10 and get $400,000? Like, these are real comments that people were put in there. And then people were like, you could always tell, like, but like, that's all the comments were. And I was just scrolling, looking, and like, when I look at that stuff, that gives me a good feeling inside. And you're going to be like, why does that give you a good feeling that people can't, like, understand a very simple concept of IIC scanning and everything? Well, it gives me a good feeling because that just shows you how much this hobby still has to grow. The fact that you could have people in a comment and they see a $30,000 price tag and it makes them click on a post and then makes them enough to ask the question, Pokemon's still a thing. It's like, if we live in this boom, we are in the fucking boom of booms of booms, and we will talk about this the same way as we talk about 2020, and we're going to talk about 2025. Fast forward 5 years from now, we're going to talk about it. 10 years from now, fast forward 20 years, and fast forward to you as an old ass man, the same way as you go up to your grandparent that went through World War I, and you asked them, where were you when Pearl Harbor was bombed on December 7th, 1941, and your parents know that, in the same way as other people know exactly where they were on 9/11. When you get older, you're going to remember 2025, and you're going to sit down and you're going to tell your kids the stories of Pokemon in 2025 and the booms of booms, because it's that crazy. But at the same time, the majority of the world has zero clue any of this is happening. They don't know that this is a boom. They don't even know that Pokemon is still a thing. That is why comments like that is why posts like that makes me super, super hopeful. Because I ask this question all the time. And I asked this in 2020. And it was the toughest question to ask. In 2020, I said, are we still early? And I asked that question on lives. Are we still early to Pokemon? And in 2020, that was a ridiculous question to ask. Still early? Have you seen the price run-ups of everything? What are you, blind? Now you go back and you say, I was there in 2020. Was I early? And the answer is like, you were early. And then the question is still the same today, which people, again, to ask it today sounds crazy. If you're in the hobby in 2025, in June of 2025, going close to July, are you still early? Think about that. Because when you got back in 2020, you sure as hell weren't early. When you got back in on Pokemon Go, you sure as hell weren't early. When is early? Because if you believe in Pokemon, you believe in the long term, in the long term trajectory. 2025 is still very, very early. Because you got generations of kids that grew up with different sets, different games, you know, the same way as all, the Kanto kids with their red and blues, and they were driving in the back seat, or they were in the back seat of their parents' car, and they were waiting for the street lights to come so it could light up their Game Boy so they could see the screen, and then sitting by the window just waiting. Oh, there's a street light, I can move a little bit. There's a street light, I can move a little bit. Those kids all grew up and had money. And then the same thing happened eventually with the EX kids, and those kids started to grow up, and then Diamond and Pearl kids. I'm not going to do the whole name every single set in an order, but you get it. And then now, do you want to know what 10 years ago brings us? This is going to sound crazy. 10 years ago brings us to XY. 2015 is like Primal Clash. You're at Primal Clash 10 years ago. So kids that were 10 then playing Pokemon, I always say like between 8 and 11 is like the prime years of Pokemon collecting. The kids who were 8 and 10 are between 18 and 21 now. They're just getting into their work life. They're probably just getting over college. They're probably straddled with a shitload of student loan debt. They're looking at the crazy market. They're looking at inflation. They're looking at the housing market, and they're probably going to struggle. But you know what's going to happen? 10 years from now, they're not going to be the struggling 21-year-old college kid. They're going to now be the person who's mid-level in their job because they're now the person that has been there for 10 years because they graduated college 10 years ago, and they've worked their way up, and they now got 10 years experience, and they're in the middle management, and they now start to buy a house, and they getting rid of their student loan debt, which felt crippling at the time, but 10 years has passed, so they're starting to get rid of that. And you know what? They got more disposable income. That is 10 years from now. That is for the XY generation. Then fast forward 10 years later, you're going to have a Sun and Moon generation and a Sword and Shield generation until right now today. Fast forward 20 years from today, you're going to have this generation of Scarlet and Violet kids growing up. And this is not original thought. I mean, Gary King Pokemon has talked about this all the time. This is one of those like famous Gary quotes that he's been on record saying multiple times. If Pokemon stopped printing cards today, meaning they never printed another one, we still got 20 years of Pokemon. We still got 20 years of this hobby if Pokemon doesn't print another card after today. Because the hobby is just that strong, and then you have that thing happening. And this hobby is very, very much cross-generational. And the kids that are in today, and you could do the old, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, the kids aren't getting packs. Think of the scalpers. Think of the kids. Like, I think of Reverend Lovejoy's wife from TV show, shout out The Simpsons. Somebody think of the children. Like, I promise you, kids today open up way more packs than little old PK was going to Toys R Us on a Saturday morning to play in the Pokemon League and have my mom drive me there and hoping Pokemon packs are there. And if I was lucky, my mom would buy me 3 to 4 packs. And that was like a special treat. And that shit never would have happened if she didn't drive me all the way across town to the Toys R Us. Kids today are opening up booster boxes. And this is the thing I keep talking about. It's cross-generational in the sense that now they're creating these lasting memories with their parents. Well, I have memories of my mom bringing me the Toys R Us. They're not shared memories. They're very much just me, and my mom was there along for the ride. Now, today, Pokemon is way different. They are now shared memories because the parent is just as excited as the kid. The generation of kids that are coming out of Scarlet and Violet, and you can say, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, there's no Prismatic, there's no Destined Rivals, the most expensive sets that currently came out and are the hardest and the most in demand. And I promise you, in a couple of years from now, if any of these sets are readily available, Destined Prismatic, nobody will care because there'll be a newer, shinier thing. I can get Destined. Who wants Destined Rivals? That is trash. We got the Megas, or we got the new Mega Squared, or the whatever. That's it. That's his hobby. All right. Joe Phil said, shout out to PK for the Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin booster box case from PC back when. Yeah, that's a thing too. Dougie Fresh said, from memes to dreams. Watching you reach this level is wild. Dougie Fresh, it's kind of crazy, man, to think about that. Memes to dreams, and I mean that in both a literal and figurative sense, but that's what this channel was founded on, memes. Tom B says, I really, really like Paradox Rift and Temporal. Yeah, go back to my spreadsheet. I acquired 350 Temporal packs on 6/4, so that was this month. Was my most recent temporal purchase. So 350 packs, it's just like a 4-row booster box, or 4-row booster box, 4-row. This, that is what. You can fit 350 packs in there. Not a booster box, a 4-row box. There we go. So my lords, I got here late. Listen at 2x speed. I can't wait to catch up and have it sound like slow motion. Oh, my lord. Thoughts and prayers to you, man. That is the worst. It's like hitting a brick wall, especially with how slow I talk. Silence is good. Says, question, I want to bring your attention. ETB, Surgeon dropped at release. Walmart. Then Prismatic at release. Oh, God. In the middle of reading it. All right. Then Journey at release. Then Destiny at release. But I'm not seeing them redrop. Do you think they are going away from big product? No, I think if anything, it's the opposite. I think Pokemon is really trying to get their product into the hands of people at big box retail. So I think it's kind of the opposite. I just think Pokemon is the demand so strong that they're really just, they want to go back and reprint stuff, but they can't. Shout out to Son of Mewtwo. Son of Mewtwo gifting 20 PK memberships. Son of Mewtwo, appreciate you, buddy. Pokemonster says, is there a PK collection tour anywhere from recent or the past? Pokemonster, there's not, unfortunately. I'll tell you right now, the grandma's basement, I am up to 22 shells. It's gotten a little out of hand. That is for sure. A little out of hand. But I mean, we've ripped 100,000 packs this year between me and Ponga. I think Dan on his Poke Flips podcast put those numbers out. So, I mean, we stream 12 times a week on Fanatics. I stream 10 of those 12 times, 11 times in total when you include my YouTube. So, out of the 100,000 packs, I'm 80,000+ of those packs. So I am the majority of the packs or whatever. I don't even know. I'm guessing it's like 80%. So there's been 80,000 packs that come through here. It's kind of crazy, man. When you start to break it down, you think about it that way. It's like, holy shit. That's a lot. That's a lot of packs. It's like 80,000, 100,000 packs. Assuming those are in booster boxes, which they're not. They come out of collection boxes and Sea and Sky boxes and Bloom and Waters boxes, but assuming they all came out of just booster boxes. What is that? 100,000 divided by 36 packs. That would be like 2,777 booster boxes open. It's a lot when you start to look at it that way. You're like, that's just a lot. It's just a really, really lot. Let's see. Julian said, sorry to my question before, sealed vintage product. Rip and shippers are depleted sealed product for all areas, but modern is relatively plentiful when compared to the amount of vintage sealed. Julian, there's people out there that have a lot of vintage. I don't know how they keep having it. It seemed like the spreadsheets, the actively updated spreadsheets, there's always stuff available. I don't know how long vintage lasts for. There's definitely some vintage product that is way scarcer, but I don't know how long it lasts for. Raymond, or excuse me, Julian. Let's see. Pokebono said, price memory is one of the hardest things to confront when looking to buy items for my collection. So many items I was slowly picking up are so far out of... I mean, that's it too. A lot of Pokemon is just... keep going. Raymond says, PK, can you give any comments on the Final Fantasy craze? What's your stance on the collector set? Will it have any effects on Pokemon? Raymond, I don't know enough about Magic to really comment. I know it's kind of what's going crazy right now. Yeah. I think rising tides lift all ships right now, Raymond. And I think because Pokemon is doing so well, I think it just gives confidence across the board. And when people say, okay, if we have confidence in Pokemon, what else could you definitely have confidence in? And it's like, well, you could have confidence in Magic the Gathering. And now Magic the Gathering is a weird thing because Magic the Gathering is, Rudy talks about it all the time. What does he call them? Game Piece Army. It's a playable TCG, where Pokemon is a playable TCG. And I'm not going to knock Pokemon, but it's a different type of player base in Magic the Gathering. More players over collectors. So when you have super expensive Magic the Gathering product and you know, you can see it's just a different group of people. Like Magic 30th. Magic 30th was what, $1,000 at release, 4 packs for Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary product, so $250 per pack. Biggest uproar ever because they were proxy cards. All the, you know, you could get yourself a original Black Lotus reprint. I mean, that's what they were. But it was a proxy. It wasn't playable in a game that is built on the TCG, and that's all anybody cares about because it's a game piece at the end of the day. Uproar crushed Magic the Gathering for a little bit. Probably made the stock drop a little bit, and people hated it. You give Pokemon people the same product. You give Pokemon people a reprint product, which we love reprints. Charizard from base set, we love Charizard from base set. Charizard from base set has been reprinted a bazillion times. You had in first edition, Shadowless, Unlimited, 99 2000. They reprinted it in base set 2. Then they reprinted it in Legendary Collection, in a holo, in a reverse holo, and then in the Lava theme deck, it was a non-holo rare. And then in Diamond and Pearl 7, which is Stormfront, they did Arita did a reimagine artwork, and it was a secret rare. And then they did, even way before that, there was like the Jumbo Coral promo, which that doesn't really count. But then they reprinted the Charizard again in Evolutions, and you got the stamp promo, the staff stamp promo Charizard. You got the regular holo from the set. You got the reverse holo. And then in Celebrations, they reprinted again. And then in the Pokemon Classic Collection, they reprinted again. And then in the Pokemon Celebrations UPC, we got it as a metal card. And do you want to know what? Every single one of those cards I mentioned, most expensive card in the set, 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 most expensive card. You see this? It just has this. As this hobby, we love us some reprints. So if we got a super high-end $1,000 4-pack product for Pokemon, that shit would be, I don't even know. It would be so expensive, especially super limited, like super hard to get your hands on. It would be crazy. And all they'd have to do is reprint the Charizard for the umpteenth time. And, like, people would die for it. Like, I look at Celebrations. Celebrations is like a reprint. That's all Celebrations is. It's a reprint set. And they reprinted cool cards. We got the Pop Series 5 Umbreon, number 17 out of 17. It was one of the big hits out of Celebrations. If you put that card in a $1,000 product, it would be a multiple $1,000 card. The Charizard would be the big hit. Like, we're just a different hobby. So, because of all those reasons, Raymond, to talk about the Final Fantasy craze, like, I'm out. I can't talk about it because our hobby is just so much different than Magic. Magic the Gathering, like, people, I mean, you got alpha cards and stuff, and, I mean, people grade some Magic the Gathering cards, but you can't just open up a Magic the Gathering modern set and, like, just grade a large majority of the hits. Pokemon, you can do it. Fuck, Paldea Evolved? You could grade every single illustration rare in Paldea Evolved. There's so many. You could grade every single SIR. Pokemon, we're built differently. The collector base is built differently. Now, while we are a TCG, which is a trading card game, we are more a collectible TCG in a sense, where the large majority of the people who interact with this hobby are just not playing the game. And I think because of that factor, we just value cards differently, and therefore that's why, you know, the Final Fantasy craze just might feel so weird. I don't know. The whole Magic the Gathering extended universe is such a cool thing that they've done. Like I said, if Pokemon ever did do that, yeah, I'm not going to do my whole rant. If you guys are new to the channel, you haven't heard me say it, but if you aren't new to the channel, and I feel like most people watching this channel still, especially watching at the 54-minute mark, you guys have already all heard me do my Super Smash Brothers rant. But like, when I talk about Super Smash Brothers, like, that's all Magic the Gathering really gets. They get a Super Smash Brothers set in every other set, whether it's Assassin's Creed, whether it's Final Fantasy, whether it's Lord of the Rings. Talk about love and marriage, nothing goes together better than Lord of the Rings and Magic the Gathering. That is love and marriage right there, you know? And yeah. All right, that is that rant on that. So yes, to answer, so the long-winded, I don't have an answer to your Final Fantasy question. Pokebotno says, I'll be here when the hobby cools off and the fake fans leave. So I'll be at my time to shine when the hobby is dead. Waiting to see the Rainbow Secret Rare generations to come back into money I might have a few decades ago. Katie Lowen says, shout out to all the Toys R Us League kids. Katie Lowen, I say this all the time. I said this on their live. It hits a little differently when you get older. Toys and planes and video games. But, everyone knows Outline, but, Katie, I don't want to grow up, because if I did, I would not be a Toys R Us kid. That one hits a little different, Katie, when you get older. You don't want to grow up because you won't be a Toys R Us kid. Luckily, I don't have to worry about that. That right there, that's a Technodrome. That's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze poster. Those are a bunch of Ninja Turtle action figures. That's Ninja Turtles Series 1 and Series 2 booster boxes. That is sealed VHSs. That is a Jurassic Park. That is a GoldenEye. That is a Terminator 2 sealed VHS. That right there behind my head, that is a Nintendo 64 with a GoldenEye. That down there is a regular Nintendo Super Mario Brothers 3. And you know what? I didn't have to grow up, Katie. I got lucky. I found one job where to be a kid paid off. It just took a while. Pokemonster. Once again, Son of Mewtwo, I do appreciate you for the gifted memberships. Katie says, I remember always running up at Toys R Us League after a match and getting like 20 stamps at a time in the league book. My league book's right there, and I can never get them to give me extra stamps, Katie. We got Pokemonsters. In 20 years, I'm still collecting and also sometimes selling. For every dollar that I'm selling, I'm buying more. Yeah, I mean, for a long time, Pokemon Star was definitely a net buyer over a net seller, and then I became a net seller over a net buyer, and then the market dropped again. I became a net buyer over a net seller, and now the market's going crazy, and I become a net seller over a net buyer. And if the eventual downturn does happen, guess what? I'm going to go back to being a net buyer, and that's just is what it is. So, me too. I appreciate you, though. Pokemonster says, PK question, in 20 years, can you do a prediction? Use imagination. I don't want to do a prediction because 20 years is so far, and at that point I think about like relationships in the hobby. In 20 years, it would just, I feel like maybe I would get too deep for it, but 20 years from now, we'll have gains and we'll have losses. When the losses happen, they're going to be rough. And at the end of the day, it's going to be about the friends we made along the way. And I think more important than just the friends we made along the way, it'll be about the legacies we leave. I think in 20 years from now, I think we'll be talking about people's legacies in the hobby more than other things. I feel like that is where I'll be in 20 years from now. I don't think I'll be worried so much about the buying and selling. I think I'll be more worried about the people of the hobby in 20 years from now. And it'll be very sad. But I think I'll be talking more about people's legacies. And I hope that people aren't talking about my legacy in 20 years from now. So, not to be a little too deep for you, Pokemonster, but that is unfortunately my prediction for where I'll be in 20 years. Talking about people's legacies, and I don't think I'll be worried about the day-to-day at that point. I'll feel like 20 years from now, I think we'll all have made it. Whatever that means, we'll have made it. And we'll be there. We'll be sitting on the highest of mountains, man, and we'll all be happy. And I think we'll all be looking at our friends that are still around in the hobby in 20 years from now. And I think there will just be a mutual respect. And I think we'll all just kind of be like, we made it. Freaking made it. I think that's where we'll be in 20 years from now. Let's see. The Hobby Bin says, does ripping 8,000 booster packs hurt your fingers? It did at first, but I got like these weird calluses that came that never existed before. I grew hair where there was no hair before. I went through my Pokemon puberty right there. Elemental Hothead says, hi PK, I miss your rants. You think Pokemon will print more ETBs in the next 6 months of previous sets? Yeah, I think we'll see a lot. I think they're going to really cater the big box retail. So I think we'll definitely see more. 6 months of previous sets, Paldean Fates. Oh, so Paldean Fates. No, I think Paldean Fates is done. I think they already did the reprints of Paldean Fates. We saw them drop with the Costco. You remember, like the Costco mini tins? I think Paldean Fates is done. I think Pokemon. Yeah, sorry, I didn't read all the way to the end. But I think where Pokemon is focusing right now, I think moderner the better. Deaths and Rivals, where the focus is going to be. Prismatic definitely was where the focus. I promise you, there will be more Prismatic that comes out. Now, if the hobby just keeps doing what the hobby does and keeps eating up, it won't be enough. But I promise you, there'll be more Prismatic. Like, that is my number one on my list. Like, most likely for a reprint. And I will tell you right now, if Prismatic doesn't get a reprint, scary. Prismatic will be so expensive. Like, it's going to need a constant supply to quell the demand on the market. Like, if this was it, mark the date, June 26, 2025, Prismatic never gets another reprint from now until forever, $600 booster box ETB in 2 years. Like, a crazy dollar amount. Like, I don't think Pokemon's going to do that. And then I think Journey Together does get a reprint, and I think Journey Together is the first set that really shakes market confidence. I just don't think Journey Together is a strong set personally. I don't think that the market demand is deep enough there, because I think that the market demand, unfortunately, where we are in Pokemon, is just the hobby is fickle, and when the hobby is fickle, they move on to the newest, shiniest thing, and you want to know what? Journey Together is not the newest, and it's not the shiniest thing right now. And in fact, people are probably going to start to look at Journey Together for what it really is. It's not a bad set, but it's a small set. It's only comprised of battle partners. Battle partners being the Japanese equivalent, where most sets are comprised of 2 sets. Shout out to Deaths and Rivals. Deaths and Rivals comprised of Heatwave Arena and Glory the Team Rocket. Heatwave Arena, solid set. It's got like Ethan's Ho-Ho in it. And then Deaths and Rivals, obviously, it's got the Mewtwo. It's got the Team Rocket's Moltres. Like, all these, SARs out of the Japanese set combine and make solid SIRs for English, and Journey Together just doesn't have that. It's the Obsidian Flames type smaller set, and because it's smaller set, when people do pull their chases, they're able to complete the set easier, and because they're not wanting to rip it because they've already completed the set, or they're already pretty close, or at least they don't need, it's not worth it for them to open the set to try to complete it because they've already done it, or it's just not worth it. And when the supply does hit the market, it's going to shake market confidence for the first time if Pokemon decides to do, reprints. I know people are talking about like the box toppers. I don't care. I still don't understand. I think I said it on was it on my last Thursday? I can't even tell. Everything is starting to meld together between the Fanatics Live and what I say on YouTube, but I still don't understand everybody's fascination with box toppers. Box toppers are not new. People are like, yeah, but they were only jumbos. What? There was 4 sets that had jumbo box toppers. Legendary Collection, Expedition, Aquapolis, and Skyridge. Those are the only 4 jumbo box topper. Every other set was regular box toppers. Like, here's one of them. This is an Absol. Do you know where this Absol is from? It just happened to be next to me. This is from Team Aqua, Team Magma. Number 96 out of 95, right? Oh, yeah. 96 out of 95. That was pretty good. Pats on back. That's a box topper. The Groudon from Hidden Legends. Box topper. The Dark Charmeleon from EX Team Rocket Returns. Box topper. Mew from Holland Phantoms. Box topper. Pikachu from Legend Maker. Box topper. You see what I'm doing there? You get the point? Like, people are like, Pokemon's never put regular box. It's like, what are you smoking? What type of dust? Do you have no clue how this hobby works? Like, box toppers are not new. Now, if they stop putting the box toppers in, that's the question, I think. But the fact that some people are like, Pokemon never did regular size box toppers, that's just such a dumb take. But, I don't know. I don't care. There's a lot of those box toppers that exist. Will there be a weird shift from cases with box toppers? Maybe. Am I speculating on it? No, I'm not. It's just one of those things. Like, I'm fine with being wrong. I personally think that if Journey Together gets a reprint, it's going to have box toppers. If it doesn't, I promise you, there's a lot of things in this hobby that I will lose sleep over. That is not one of them. I just don't care. There's so many things right now that I have my attention on for, like, things that I think are good plays. And Journey Together is not even in my top 20 right now. Thinking about box toppers. All right. I don't even know what question that... I think that was asking about ETBs from Walmart. Is that... Did I get off on that far of a hobby? Let's see. Yeah. Son of Mewtwo says, you call the best, though. PK, Pokemon is a hobby versus players first and foremost, and so the desire to collect is more. Goro says, you get laughed at Magic if you grade the card. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so people are saying they just released Evolution set in Pokemon Pocket. There's no reason we don't get Pokemon Pocket cards in the physical sense. Like, I think there's a group of people out there that think Pokemon Pocket cards will always stay digital. Why? Doesn't make sense. Like, eventually we'll see Pokemon Pocket expansions, and then all those artworks will be the best set Pokemon ever created. The next set is always the best set, but if Pokemon Pocket expansions come out, and especially if they try to condense like multiple sets and give everybody all these Pokemon Pocket artworks, it will be the best set Pokemon ever created. That's just this hobby for you. So Chaos Emperor says, I remember going to a Toys R Us league when Team Rocket Returns came out, and it was 4 dudes in the break room of the store. So I was out of Pokemon by 2004, so I missed Team Rocket Returns, unfortunately. Let's see. Silence says, question, based on your current XP and streaming pack opening, 151 or Prismatic or Destined to be on top? 15. So when everything's all said and done, so we're like, nothing's getting reprinted again. 151 is going to be strong. It's going to be between 151 and Prismatic. So we're talking like 5-10 years down the line. Prismatic hasn't been printed in a couple years. 151. I could see. I like 151 over Prismatic, but it's not a hill I'm willing to die on. 151 just feels like such a good opening experience in the future, but Prismatic will be one of those sets that will just always have a crazy chase to it. It's the same thing with Evolving Skies. I opened up Evolving Skies the other day. It's like less than 36 packs. We hit the Rayquaza V, the Leafeon VMAX, and the Sylveon VMAX in like less than 36 packs. And it feels good, but man, that is not the norm for us to open Evolving Skies. You want to know what the normal norm is? Shout out to Rattle Pokemon. Yeah, rub the Ampharos's belly. Shout out to Rattle. I poked the Ampharos's belly, but Rattle used to rub the Ampharos's belly, the non-holo rare from Evolving Skies. That is probably, you're more likely your norm. But, so, I don't know. I think 151 is just going to be a better pack opening experience in the future because of easier pull rates, and I think it will be people will be more wanting to open it, but prismatic, I wouldn't sleep on prismatic. Either one is good. But if I had to pick one, because I don't want to sit on the Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles fence, even though the secret, not only can I sleep on a fence, I could sit on a fence, I could sleep on it. The secret is you sleep face down with the steak in your mouth. But I'm gonna go with 151. The Hobby Bin says, speaking of Toys R Us, did you ever see the Gotta Watch This Now VHS that was sent out to random households in the 90s? Was lucky enough to get one as a kid. You should watch it. I've never watched it as a kid. Maybe I've seen some of the highlights. I appreciate that. Son of Mewtwo saying nice things about me. Pokemonster said, damn, that's a nice answer. Thanks. I hope so. I will be there hopefully as well in 20 years. Yeah. Pokey Plush says, most clickbait title ever. No way. I think the most clickbait. We could go to Alex's channel. Me and Alex, we don't hate each other anymore. We could rag on Alex. He has the most clickbaity titles. But he would be mad. Me and Alex, we don't hate each other anymore. I think he has the most clickbaity titles ever. Let's see. Let's go filter. Let's source. Let's do most views. View count. Let's see. Pokemon Journey Together, Disaster on on Arrival. Oh wait, that's just a normal. Never mind. This is just a general search. I need to find his channel. Either way, I think Alex got me beat, but maybe not. Maybe I could take the title from Alex as the most clickbaity title in the hobby. Clef's, yeah. Let's see. Colson says, is that the Colson? No way, it's the Colson. Goro says, what do you think of the Unagaba cards in the future? I think super awesome. I think the Pikachu is slept on, especially being the first, but I love the thought of them because they're a blind product, so I like the thought of the sealed ones. I mean, they were so cheap for a while. You could just, on the lives, that was like the first buy it now option we had was $25 for sealed ones, and people just keep wanting to open them because they're fun. I mean, there's not really a thing being a bad evolution. There's Glaceon fans, there's Sylveon fans, there's Espeon fans, there's Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon, Espeon, Umbreon. I think I'm just gonna start Leafeon. I'm gonna start repeating. But there's a fan for every one of those Pokemon. It's not like other cards where there's certain people out there they just don't like a certain card, or the vast majority of people where if you walked up to 100 different people who are Pokemon fans and you asked them what's their favorite evolution is, I think it would be very, very easy to get every single evolution accounted for more than once out of 100 people. Just because everybody's different. My favorite evolution is Jolteon, because the electric type is the best. Raichu is the best Pokemon. He's the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be. Does that mean I like electric type? Yes, kinda. But Jolteon's my favorite. And maybe that's not everybody's favorite. And then there'll definitely be a lot of Umbreon fans, and So I just think Unagabas have that staying factor in the sense that there's something for everybody in there. So when you have a product like that is, and you know what? One of the big things about products like that is there's a barrier to entry. That's it. Barrier to entry in this hobby means a lot. And what does the barrier to entry mean? One, you got to know what they are. That is already a barrier of entry. Unagabas. What are Unagabas? The evolutions, the Pikachu. Why are they called Unagabas? Well, because that was the artist's name. His name was Unagaba. So, there's already a little bit of a barrier of entry. And then it's well, how were they released? Was it an exclusive release? What were the releases like? Were people going crazy over them? And the answers for all that was yes. But then the question is, was there a lot of them? Yes. But was the demand just strong enough to eat up all the supply? Yes. And those are one of those things that at the time, it just makes so much sense. So, yeah, if you picked up positions in Unagabas, I would not say you have to sell them today. I think you're still got a good pickup at whatever price you got into those at. And you know what? Another thing about them that I didn't even mention, they are super, super easy to grade. Unagaba pack or Unagaba cards straight out of the pack are super, super unbelievably clean. And we're talking clean Japanese print quality in a nice sealed package. They don't usually come out with a lot of damage on them. They're super clean. There's Unagaba's got a lot going for him. So that's my Unagaba answer. Red's card case says, Yo, PK, I just graded 5 sequential Mimikyu V trainer galleries from Brilliant Stars. You kind of made me like that card a lot. Dude, Red, the fact that you graded not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 Mimikyu Vs, watching TV with old Acerola looking. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I didn't even realize, even though I fell in love with that card, I didn't realize that that was a, what's the Stephen King movie? They're Here. What's the name of that movie? Oh my god, somebody in the chat's gonna have to let me know. Whatever that movie is. I didn't even know that that was like an homage to that movie. Emperor of Nostalgia says, I can't wait for the crash. Well, I'm gonna have to keep waiting. Gold Star Blizzard says, okay, you convinced me. I just bought a PSA 10 Pikachu. That narrows it down. There can only be one answer on what a PSA 10 Pikachu could be. Alright, well, I did it. I made it to the bottom of the chat. Congrats, Gold Star, on your very obscure Pokemon that nobody's ever heard of named Pikachu. I'm sure there could be only one PSA 10 of a Pikachu because there are no other Pikachus that have ever been graded. Alright, as always, I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please be safe. You guys want to come hang out with me? You guys ever want to chat? I'm live on Fanatics Live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and then live every night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturday nights. We got a bounty going tomorrow. $1,000 if you hit the Umbreon SAR from Prismatic Evolutions. $1,000 to the person that pulls it, and then $1,000 to one lucky person in chat. So all you got to do in order to be entered into that giveaway is just got to be in the chat. Okay, Gold Star says that makes sense. He said the Unagaba, obviously. Gotcha. Well, Gold Star, congrats on your Unagaba Pikachu. Very nice. All right. We got a good morning from South Australia. Good morning to you, Goonies. All right, as always, I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please be safe. Join in my live on Fanatics Live tomorrow morning. There's a link for an affiliate link. You get some $25 in Fanatics Live credit. I got a little kickback too. But as always, I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Be safe. And as always, I'll catch you on the next stream. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out, like Pokebondo said. Otherwise, if not, fuck you guys.